Welcome. This is going to be a quick little primer on proteins. I just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. I don't know your backgrounds or how much general bio you've had, so I don't know how much you know about proteins, but proteins are really important and we're going to talk about them a lot this semester. So I just want to make sure everyone knows what a protein is, how important they are, how they function, and the basic structure of a protein, because the structure is critically important to the protein. And you can see here just how many functions there are. Proteins have transport functions, structure, enzymes, hormones, signaling molecules, antibodies, fluid balance, acid-base balance, and channel pumps. And all of these are working physiologically in different ways to keep an animal functioning in its normal homeostatic state, its normal steady state. Some more about proteins. We're going to talk about muscles and how muscles move. Actin and myosin are both different types of proteins that contract a muscle. We'll talk about how hormones regulate body functions. Hormones are made from proteins. Your body's defense system, your antibody system, are made from proteins. How oxygen and blood gases get transported throughout your body, proteins. Enzymes make reactions happen. Reactions need to be controlled in the body because you don't want all of your reactions in your body to happen spontaneously. You want them to be regulated. And if they weren't regulated and all of your reactions happened at the same time, you would spontaneously combust because you would have so much heat in your body. So enzymes regulate the rate of a reaction, and they can speed up a reaction when an enzyme is present, or your body can withhold enzymes to make sure a reaction doesn't happen. And we'll talk about that. Enzymes are proteins as well. Storage. Different molecules that store things are proteins. Structure is protein. Different structural components of your body is made from proteins. And then receptors. And receptors are really important because when we talk about the phospholipid bilayer, the membrane of the cell, it has all of these structures in it, all of these proteins, and they are channels which allow different molecules to come in and out of a cell. Some of these will just stay open for the most part and allow different molecules to pass through that wouldn't normally pass through because of these lipid tails. Some of these will need ATP to open and close, and some will have other structures on them that will bind certain things that will open if something is bound there or close if it's not bound, depending on what the different transport protein is and what it's allowing into and out of the cell. So this is an example of your transport proteins. An example of an enzyme here is this purple structure is an enzyme, and it's working on this substrate, glucose. Enzymes are made from proteins, and proteins are extremely shape specific. If the protein is not the proper shape, it will not bind to whatever it needs to bind. Let's talk briefly about how an enzyme works. So an enzyme here has an active site that is going to bind a specific molecule. And you can see here, this enzyme is sucrase, and it's going to bind sucrose. Enzymes usually end in ase. Lactase is the enzyme that breaks down milk proteins. So if you see an ACE, you'll know that it is an enzyme. A little bit later, we'll talk about ATPase. That is going to separate a phosphate from ATP. So here we have our enzyme sucrase, and it has an active site that is very shape specific for only sucrose. Only sucrose can bind on this enzyme. And when you need to separate sucrose to release some glucose and fructose, because sucrose is a two-sugar molecule, a disaccharide. It's made of a glucose and a fructose. So when you need a glucose for energy, then sucrase will separate glucose and fructose by binding that sucrose and that will change the shape of the enzyme, and then your products will be released. It'll separate that molecule, and the glucose and the fructose will be released, but then that enzyme can go back and be reused. These are recycled. They're not wasted. So everything in the body is really good about recycling, much better than humans are. So enzymes catalyze reactions. They make reactions happen by binding the substrate and making that reaction happen faster than it would on its own. A lot of these reactions would happen on their own, but they wouldn't be regulated again. And so enzymes are regulating the rate of these reactions. So what is a protein? We talked about how ribosomes make proteins. And so let's go through the structure of a protein and see what happens. We talked about how ribosomes build this primary structure. So this is our amino acid chain, also called a polypeptide chain. These are peptides, and there's many of them. So it's a polypeptide chain. And this primary structure here is just the chain of these amino acids. When we talked about ribosomes and how they build proteins, we talked about how there are different charges on these amino acids. And you can see that here, that between these different amino acids, hydrogen bonds will form. We talked about hydrogen bonds with water. Hydrogen bonds are short-lived bonds, but when you have a lot of hydrogen bonds together, they are pretty strong. They're usually pretty weak on their own and very short-lived, but when you have a lot of them, like in water or in proteins, they work together to keep that structure held together. Depending on the chain of amino acids, so where these bonds are, where the charges are, proteins will fold into a secondary structure, either this alpha helical structure or this beta pleated sheet structure. And that is going to be based again on the order of these amino acids. So if there's any mistake on the DNA, on the RNA, if there is a mutation and the wrong amino acid is put in this order, you may get the wrong shape folding here, and the protein will not work properly because shape, again, is really important in proteins. It can only work in a very specific shape, and every protein is going to have their own shape. So our secondary structure, these alpha helix or this beta pleated sheet, are then going to fold together into our tertiary structure. So this is one amino acid strand, one polypeptide chain, all folded up now, and you can see the alpha helices in here and these beta pleated sheets. And this protein happens to be myoglobin. We'll talk about myoglobin when we talk about muscles. This is how the muscles store oxygen. So just like your blood carries oxygen on hemoglobin, in your muscles, you store it in myoglobin. And then finally, you'll get multiples of these subunits coming together to make the final protein structure. So this dark purple would be one of these tertiary structures. This light purple would be one, this pink would be one, and this red would be one. So the quaternary structure, the final structure of a protein, is multiple tertiary structures all bound together to make one protein. The quaternary structure is the final structure of the protein. So let's take a look at what this looks like in reality. This is a voltage-gated sodium channel. So this is a channel that is going to allow sodium into your neurons. And you can see here all these alpha helices. I feel like it looks like my hair. And these beta pleated sheets in here. And you can see these different colors are different tertiary structures, but they're all bound together. Here's this blue, this yellow, this purple, red, beige. All of them are going to be bound together to make this final protein structure, which is embedded in your membrane to allow sodium to cross that membrane, that phospholipid bilayer. All right, let's go back through this. I know you were hoping to never see this again. Here is your ribosome, and here's your messenger RNA. Remember, your messenger RNA is a code from your actual DNA. So your DNA is a code for messenger RNA, which will then be read by ribosomes to make proteins. So here is your messenger RNA strand, your protein strand. Here, down here is your ribosome starting to read that messenger RNA code. Remember, every 3 base pairs on this mRNA code is going to code for a different amino acid. And there's always an initiation or a start code so that that ribosome knows it's in the right place and it's starting to build the protein with the right amino acids. And then that mRNA is going to move down the ribosome or through the ribosome, building this polypeptide chain. So each of these little blue balls here are different amino acids building this polypeptide chain. And then you can see there is also a termination or a stop codon so that the ribosome knows it's time to stop building that protein. Then this chain is going to leave this ribosome and fold into its different structures. Here is your amino acid chain. As soon as it is released from this ribosome, it will fold either into the beta pleated sheet or the alpha helix, and then that one chain, that one polypeptide chain that has folded into these secondary structures can then fold into this tertiary structure, and then multiple tertiary structures can bind together to make that quaternary structure. All right, that's a lot, but it's important to know because we're going to talk about enzymes all throughout the semester, and we're going to talk about proteins. And so you have to know the basic structure of a protein to know why it's so important that shape is important, pH is important, and temperature is important. And we've mentioned that proteins can denature at very high temperatures. Let's go back here. So at very high temperatures or with acidic pH, these hydrogen bonds can be broken. And that would make these structures fall apart. This secondary structure would fall apart, and you would end up back at this primary structure. Do you think the protein would work if you just had the primary structure? It would not, because it's not the right shape. So at very high temperatures or acidic conditions, if you break these hydrogen bonds, your whole protein is going to denature and fall apart. And this cannot be rebuilt. So think about an egg. If you cook an egg, can you uncook your egg just by putting it in the fridge? You can't. You can try, but it's not going to work. All right. So proteins, important. We'll talk about them all semester.